Guys, we have got 6-on-6 tag team action tonight. Ultima Lucha Dos is just a couple weeks away, and not one, but 2 returns, so stick around and let's talk about it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I was like, do we start with kung fu fighting? Do we start with ninja rap? No.
Man, all of those would have been
start
good.
with my boyfriend's back.
All those would have been good, but once you explained it to me, this takes it.
You know?
This absolutely. I mean, not only one of my favorite little-known early '90s movies, but also a great.
Oh, that's such a great movie with the zombie boyfriend.
Yep.
Oh man.
Guys, you know, right off the bat, seconds in, our first obscure movie
random
reference.
references begin.
But guys, we are talking season 2, episode 20 of Lucha Underground, The Contenders.
Oh man.
I am excited.
It was so crazy. Who would think that you could see more original matches that you've never seen in wrestling before?
Right.
Like a nunchuck match.
Absolutely.
Like-
and weirdly enough, for the first time in the season, Ultima Lucha Dos is like, it's coming up. You can see it on the horizon.
It's coming.
Which that means there's 4 weeks left in the season, which means there's 4 weeks left in our season.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Guys, thank you for joining us. As always, my name is Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA, as well as various other after shows for your viewing enjoyment. But, as always, my lovely and talented co-host.
Hello. It's nice to see you.
So
Always a
fantastic to see
pleasure.
you, as
Hi,
always.
you can follow me on Twitter at @TheJimboSlice. That's TheeJimboslice. That's at @TheJimboSlice with 2 E's. That's at @TheJimboSlice. Let's get into this episode.
Let's get into episode 20.
Oh man.
So to recap, we get a little previously on, and I love, the previously ons
always good.
They set up the stories that are going to be told in this episode. We get a little recap of Jack Evans versus Drago. We get a recap of the police story with Cisco being arrested, Cortez Castro, Joey Ryan, all of that good stuff. And of course, Matanza breaking Pentagon Jr.'s back. How long ago was that? It's been a little minute.
It was like
6 weeks?
6 weeks.
It's
6
been about
weeks.
a month and a half.
It's
I was
been a
gonna say.
minute. It's been a minute, but a certain ninja skeleton is coming back, and he's very, very angry.
I love it.
Starting off, we get Dario Cueto and Black Lotus talking in the proprietor's office, in El Jefe's office, one of my favorite locales of the whole Lucha Underground mythos, the canon, the universe, if you will. They're talking about how Dragon Azteca Jr. knows the location of Matanza's cell now. He's out for vengeance, and Black Lotus is she's having some second thoughts. She's like, I stopped him, but I'm not sure.
Did I do the right thing?
She's not sure if she
did I
made
do a good thing for a bad man?
Exactly, yeah. But of course, Dario Cueto is gonna tell you that he's the only one that you can trust. Obviously, the devil's gonna tell you that.
Oh, of course.
But she says that if she finds out that Dragon Azteca is not the one that murdered her parents, then Dario Cueto is not only going to have to answer to her, but the entire Black Lotus triad.
Danger.
Which, we have talked about the Mortal Kombat references, and we'll have plenty tonight. But this just reminded me of the Black Dragon, of Kano, and all of that good stuff,
Way to tie it all back.
It all comes full circle, guys.
Yes.
The Mortal Kombat universe is full of these factions. That's why there's a faction mode in the new game. There's there's the White Lotus, there's the Black Dragon, there's the Lin Kuei, all of that stuff.
I think Armageddon was the last Mortal Kombat I played.
And weirdly
Catch
enough,
up, ya boy.
I've got Armageddon references on deck.
Oh man.
But not only that, we've got our very first match signed for Ultima Lucha Dos. Dario Cueto makes the match right there in El Jefe's office. He says that Black Lotus will finally see action in the temple, taking on Dragon Azteca Jr. one-on-one.
And he says, you will take his mask and bring it back to the triad. And I was like, oh man.
Right?
What happens if she doesn't?
Right?
Uh-oh.
Yep. We saw what happened to Bale. R.I.P. Bale.
Yeah.
We love you. But yeah, we've got our very first match.
Called it.
Yep. You did.
yeah,
you
he
did
did.
call it. See, Mark is prescient,
Oh,
guys.
hello, Mock.
Oh, hello,
You
hello,
must be
Mark.
kidding, aren't you?
Into our
Coming back from that, we get a little bit more details about Lucha Underground, Ultima Lucha Dos. It is only 4 weeks away. That means July 6th, you need to be here with us. You need to watch Ultima Lucha and then come right here to AfterBuzz and talk about it with us.
Whew.
Only 4 weeks away.
4 weeks.
This season just flew by.
It did, man. Haven't missed an episode.
What, Pritza?
I said we haven't missed an episode.
You know, we are batting 1,000.
Yeah.
Batting 1,000, guys.
Keep it going.
Not only that, we find out that tonight's main event is going to be a 6-on-6 tag team match. And here's the skinny, guys. Tonight, it's going to be 6-on-6 tag team action. Next week, the members of that winning team will all battle amongst each other. And the winner of that match will go on to face Matanza for the Lucha Underground Championship at Ultima Lucha Dos.
This is a crazy concept because it's like we have to work together to then work against each other.
Exactly. But I love it. One of the reasons I love it is that it puts 12 people all on even footing in terms of being championship contenders.
That's a great point.
I mean, these are all, basically main eventers. There's 12 of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
There's
so
no
I
mid
love-
card in Lucha Underground.
Exactly. So I love the approach. I love kind of the thinking behind this. It's going to give us a whole lot of action. Not only that, we find out tonight that we're going to have a nunchuck match. First time
fellow
ever.
chucker,
Fellow chucker, eh?
There was a
So
lot.
good.
There was at least 4 of them.
The second Matt Striker said it, Matt Striker looking extremely tan tonight, but the
man.
second he said it, I knew we were going to get a whole lot of mileage out of one of our favorite sound clips. But it will be Drago and Aerostar taking on the team of the Darewolf, PJ Black, and Jack Evans.
The Dragon Slayer.
The Dragon Slayer, of course. First up, we've got Marty the Moth Martinez, and he is right up in Melissa Santos'
Just creep
face.
it out. Give me the mic. Just creeps her out to the point and takes the mic away.
Creeper's gonna creep.
Oh man,
He's
it's so
just
good.
up in her face.
He is dandy to the
Absolutely.
nth degree.
But we remember the last time we saw him, that amazing sequence between him and Killshot backstage, complete with gunshot sound effects.
Oh man. That was the only thing missing tonight.
Right,
Gunshot sound effects.
exactly.
But there were some other ones.
There were some other
Oh.
ones. But yeah, Marty gets on the mic. He's taunting Killshot. Matt Striker with the Dead on Warriors references. And we go right into tonight's opening contest, and which really doesn't even really get out of the starting blocks.
No, they didn't even take off their shirts or their ring vest.
Nope.
They were just kicking the shit out of each other.
Killshot with an amazing tackle right through the ropes, and they just go at it in the ringside area. I don't know what happened right there. Justin Borden, our good friend Justin Borden, Lefty himself, he starts the count over, giving them ample time to get in, but still, after 2 different start overs, they still get counted out.
I loved how it was very like horror movie-esque the way Killshot just appeared behind Marty
Just
right
popping
there.
up.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was like, oh, that was great. And then like Marty's on the ring apron and Killshot hits this nasty kick.
Oh my God, the
It's
PK, the PK right from the apron, just
so
killing
good.
him.
And then like they're on the outside and like Killshot slams Marty into the barricade, and then Marty slams Killshot on the barricade like 20 times, and then power bombs him into the barricade.
Right. Oh, that power
I was
bomb
just
was
like,
nuts.
oh, you guys are just going swinging for the fences.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get a big old German suplex followed by, that moment of just realization. And usually it's Marty that gets kind of the horror movie elements, but it was an amazing example of camera work.
And I love like Marty goes for an Irish whip on the outside, and Killshot reverses it right at the last minute, and Marty goes like head first into like the side of the announce table, and that's right where like the Lucha logo is with the mask. And I totally thought he was gonna like Mick Foley mind games it and just like stick his head right into like the Lucha mouth and just be like stuck in the announce table.
Oh, one of my favorite in your houses.
That would have been so great.
But the point being, after all of this chaos, referees come in, try to break it up, and Marty the Moth escapes with Killshot's dog tags.
Yeah, and at a point, like, Killshot gets him back, and then Marty gets him back, and then he's, like, pulling Marty's hair.
Yeah.
And you can hear him, like, laughing, and
Right.
then he, like, gets away.
So we gotta think that if this feud has enough legs, which I imagine it will, we'll see a showdown between the two of them at Ultima Lucha.
Yeah, and then what's going to happen with Mariposa?
Oh,
What she's
interesting.
gonna
Interesting.
play in that situation.
Right? I know. Will this be our favorite type of match?
Oh, man. What kind of match would that be, Mark?
Ladder match.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm working on something for a later match.
You know, it's fine.
You'll
It's
love
fine.
it. You'll love it. Trust me.
It's all good.
You're gonna love the way you look. Next up, we go to the police station where
Our boy Cisco.
Our boy Mr. Cisco is locked up. He's in handcuffs. He's in a prison jumpsuit, and Cortez Castro and Joey Ryan come in. They're trying to get him to play along, doing a little good cop, bad cop. You know, trying to get him to make things easier, give up information on Dario Cueto. But
Two things. Like, one thing I really loved, I'll get to that in a minute, but a thing that I was like, hey, like, he still had his eyebrow ring in.
oh, did he?
Yeah, like if you ever go to jail, that's like the first thing they take. All your jewelry.
Another thing I love is that at one point he spits at Cortez Castro, and Joey gives him like the most gentle push, like as if to say like, "Hey, watch it," but it's like just barely kind of
Like a caress?
It's just kind of caressing him. Yeah.
Hey, don't do that.
Hey, come on, man.
But I love when they're
cool.
like, Cisco, Dario trusts you. He's like, well, he shouldn't. I had my best friend who was a rat.
It's like, well, I mean, I guess you've got a point. There's not a
so
lot of
great.
trustworthiness in the temple. If we've learned anything, it's that. But
That's what he says. He's like, well, he shouldn't, because I introduced him to my best friend who was a rat cop. It's just like,
exactly.
oh,
It's
that's
like,
so great.
All right, I guess. Vasquez comes in. She runs down his lengthy rap sheet.
Oh.
Accessory to murder, armed robbery, blah, 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 what have you.
It's a mile long.
You know, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Don't get yourself down, Cisco.
He's been busy.
But they want him to wear a wire in the temple, which that is just like courting death at this
No.
point.
Why would you do that?
Like he's like he refuses at first. He's like, "Come on, man. What am I? Do you want me to get my face eaten?
Yeah.
I literally watched that happen.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Why would I ever do that? Why would you do that?"
You can stop the end of days.
But yeah, that's what we find out from Vasquez, that Dario Cueto she thinks is the linchpin to the end of days. Now, what do we
does that
think
mean?
the end of days is in the Lucha Underground universe?
I think it means like the ultimate sacrifice, like the temple and the sacrifice.
I mean, do we think that when she says end of days, is she talking about the actual biblical apocalypse?
possibly,
Or is she
the
talking
rapture is here?
or is she talking about something, some sort of symbolic name? I don't know what the hell else it could be.
What if that's what the what's his name? The guy that's in the limo that we don't know who it is.
Oh, the Lord?
What if that the Lord?
The Lord.
What if that's like his alias is the end of days?
Interesting.
Something like
Okay.
that.
Okay. It could be. Who knows? At this
knows?
point, who knows? Who knows?
I think one of two things are going to happen
Yes,
with
sir.
Mr. Cisco. Either one, he's going to be successful, and they're going to put him in witness protection, which is essentially just put him in a new mask.
Okay.
Or two,
Ah.
he's going to die
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
and show up again in a new mask.
I'm pretty sure he's on the Dunzo list. So let's get him in here before
Yeah.
that happens.
Please, Cholo, shout out.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
got 4 more weeks to get you in studio.
Next up, we have got our nunchuck match,
Oh my God.
which
Yeah, buddy.
it's just it's
They
like
were
a fever
everywhere.
dream.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
But of course, yeah, we've got PJ Black and Jack Evans taking on Drago and Aerostar, and it is lit.
The Darewolf, PJ Black. The Dragon Slayer, Jack Evans. Together, we are Lucha Gringos.
Before anything, let's talk about this sick ass helmet headpiece that Drago is wearing.
Oh, man.
Very like
Donnie Darko.
it's very Donnie Darko, very kind of Big Van Vader esque.
If it only blew smoke.
Right?
Totally. Get some dry ice for that.
Alexander the Greater, for all you guys that played Saturday Night Slam Masters on the Super Nintendo. Oh man, imagine wrestling but in like the Street Fighter universe.
No way.
Hager was a playable character from Final Fight.
Wow.
That
I gotta
game
check that out.
was dope. But yeah, there was a guy who was basically just Vader, and his name was Greater. His name was
That's dope.
Alexander the Greater, and he came out with the big like mastodon.
Was
helmet.
it like Fire Pro? To where it's like the same characters, but their names are kind
very
of changed.
very similar. Yeah, there was like a Kabuki like analog who named Oni, and there was like all sorts of guys that were basically current wrestlers. But that game was dope as hell.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Absolutely.
Pretty sure it was arcade only, so it might be harder to find.
Saturday Night Slam Masters was not arcade only.
Super Nintendo, you said?
It was on Super Nintendo. I believe it was on Genesis as well.
Fine, Ty.
Do
jeez.
not dispute me.
I loved all Matt Stryker's references to anyone with nunchucks.
Yes.
As people are coming out, he's like Kabuki, Liu Kang, And like his
Right.
list kept going and going and going, and
Well,
then
and-
Vampiro's like, "What are you talking about? All I can think of is Bruce Lee beating the shit out of all these guys."
Right, exactly. Well, and speaking of Liu Kang and all of these Mortal Kombat references, the shot of them all climbing over each other up the steps to get to the nunchucks reminded me of the opening cinematic of Armageddon.
Trying to get up to Blaze.
They're all trying to get up to Blaze on the temple.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
There you go.
I see you, Ty.
You see me. Yes.
Michelangelo.
But yeah, let's talk about, once again, we talk a lot about how PJ Black is deceptively strong, and every time he reverses a head scissors into that deadlift brainbuster, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, we see that. We see a double team from Black and Evans, double team, double stomp, and Death Valley Driver.
Oh, that was great.
Absolutely. But most importantly, we see air guitar, but we also hear air guitar.
A little shred.
Thank you.
A
Thank
little
you.
shredding.
I love that things
They were just like, nunchucks.
Well, things from the backstage universe are starting to bleed into the actual in-ring universe. Like the 423 Get Fame is showing up on screen when he's cutting a promo in the ring. Or like we're hearing air guitar, or that sound that we heard when Johnny Mundo hit that pose in the middle of the ring.
That was great.
Like they're all starting to bleed together. That fourth wall is dropping.
Break down the wall.
But
Fellow chucker, eh?
speaking of that quote, we even got a turtle reference from Jack
He's all
Evans.
cowabunga.
He said, "In the spirit of Michelangelo, cowabunga."
So good.
Chucker, eh? A fellow chucker,
Just started lighting people up with nunchuck action.
Oh man, and then like when Drago finally gets the nunchucks, he's just like he didn't skip a beat.
Killing
It's
it.
like, are you an animal or a man or a mythical creature? What are you?
Are you a manimal?
Are you a
Are you a
manimal?
manimal?
But yeah, we see an amazing dive from Drago, but an even more incredible dive from Aerostar.
The jump one?
Well, that one was amazing.
crazy.
But I'm talking about Aerostar assuming the role of Angelico for this season and jumping off of Dario's office.
Well, it was so crazy because like he does the jump off all three ropes.
He does,
and I
yeah.
thought he was gonna do his like cannonball, like pray to survive.
Right.
But he twists right at the last minute, turns into a crossbody.
Exactly, yeah. A quadruple jump, twisting plancha.
Yeah, so
Weird,
nuts.
James. I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, who knows? And then I loved how like Jack is like hanging from the office, and they're doing like the Looney Tunes, like hit, move your hand, hit, move your hand,
Right.
hit, move your hand.
Right.
It was so great. And at some point, it was like to get the nunchucks because they were hanging in awkward spots.
Yeah.
They're like doing like Three Stooges, Police Academy 4 climb on top of each other
Sure.
things. You know, like it
Man,
was so
Lucha
great.
Underground needs Michael Winslow. Oh, so good.
So good.
What
Wow.
if it is Michael Winslow?
If Michael Winslow's the Lord?
And he's the one that's like, you need more sound effects.
Guys, what we're saying is we want to see a crossover universe between Lucha Underground and Police Academy.
Yeah, Steve Gutenberg could use it.
If we can get a scene between the Goot and Dario Cueto, oh man.
Hightower.
Lucha Underground.
Oh no.
Hightower is like Big Rick was my cousin.
That's incredible.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, we have fun here, guys.
Tackleberry.
But one of my favorite angles of this match, we talk a lot about the camera work, the camera angles that they use in Lucha Underground. I love the angle that we see when Drago finally mists Jack Evans in the corner.
Oh, so good.
Like, we're expecting him to just rain down punches, something like that, but then he just sprays mist directly at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, in and through Jack Evans' face, towards the camera.
Looks so good. Legit. And then he finishes it with his dragon whip pin.
Right, yeah, the dragon's tail / dragon's lair.
Yeah, so good.
Just, I mean, yeah, it reminds me a lot of Jorge Rivera, who's one of my absolute favorite luchadors. He's wrestled a lot in Chikara. He's basically like, imagine the Lucha Libre Johnny Saint, where he can just do all sorts of things, whereas Johnny Saint does it with like World of Sport technical wrestling, Jorge Rivera, Sky, does it with like weird pins and
that
submissions.
Skyda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have they ever wrestled against each other? Him and Johnny Saint?
I think in the, God.
Because that would be crazy.
I think they were both part of the King of Trios at one point. I could be wrong. I know they've both been a part of the King of Trios. I don't know if it was the same year or against each
I would
other.
love to see like Lady in the Lake and then like the Lucha Libre version of that.
Right, exactly.
Wait,
no, I
like,
think
we
that's
both
what it
do
was.
this.
I think there was a team in the King of Trios where it was Quack, Johnny Saint, and Jorge Rivera.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
three
yeah.
on a team.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
Masters of 1,000 Holds. I
Oh
think.
wow.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Love it.
But let's get.
Ray?
Man, Mark, you just got that itchy drop finger.
I loved how like when they were doing the whole thing on top of Dario's office, the nunchucks fell and the fans threw them back up to
Of
try and
course.
get him to jack, but Aerostar caught him. And
That's
then he was just
incredible.
like, okay, let's do this. Like those things sounded so bad.
Right.
Like, oh man.
Well, they were
Like,
the sound effects, the Foley artists were having a field day with this
oh,
episode.
definitely with this episode. For
Like
sure.
every nunchuck was like crack, crack, crack.
It was like lots of celery getting broken.
Exactly. But let's get into some 6-on-6 tag team action. Our main event for the night. Here are our teams, as scheduled. We've got Prince Puma, The Mac, Tejano, Sexy Star, Son of Havoc, and Rey Mysterio Jr. taking on the team of Phoenix, Ivelisse, King Cuerno, Taya, Johnny Mundo, and Chavo Guerrero. But before Chavito can make it into the ring, we get a visit from one of our favorite faces of Lucha Underground.
He just rolls up.
Rolls up literally,
Yeah.
Professor X style,
Yeah.
wheels himself in, and we get kind of a humble Pentagon.
I was like, what is going on right now?
He says, you know, Chavo, you're the only one who supported me. And Chavo,
Chavo's like, absolutely,
Chavo
yes.
doesn't know that, like, Pentagon's not going to be nice to you and the other shoe's not going to drop.
Yeah.
Like, you're in for something. And so he says, you know what? I'm going to go wrestle. That's fine. And he turns around and Pentagon says, but now I will destroy you.
Yeah.
And he stands up and beats the holy shit out of Chavo Guerrero.
Breaks it.
Breaks his arm. The temple goes absolutely bonkers.
I could break it.
And of course, Dario Cueto, being the ultimate opportunist as he is, decides, you know what? If the temple wants it, sure. Now Pentagon is part of this team instead of Chavo. Exactly the way that Chavo stole his way into the Gift of the Gods match, Pentagon Jr. stole his spot in this match. So it all works out. Karma is a bitch in the Lucha Underground universe.
Especially for Chavo.
Exactly. And so, like we said at the top of the show, the winners of this match, the winning team, will go on to face each other in a match called 6 to Survive next week on episode 21.
Dario's like, Chavo, you got a bad break.
Dario loves those puns. Love this lighting.
good.
Absolutely. But you know what?
There was so much going on in this match.
A whole bunch. We get Sexy Star and Taya starting out, and I love the pairings that happen organically in this match. I love that Ivelisse and Son of Havoc get in there. Even though they've got 5 partners each, they have no problem taking it to each other.
I love how Sexy Star hit like almost a reverse X Factor where she just grabbed Taya by the hair and like threw her back.
Oh, absolutely.
But like fell like an X Factor. I was like,
Right.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I've never
definitely,
seen that before.
definitely. Of course, we see a whole bunch of action between Pentagon and the Mac.
Return of the Mac.
I mean, 2 of the hardest hitting competitors in the temple.
I'm gonna tell you this right now,
Mm-hmm.
okay? The first PWG show I filmed ringside was Willie Mack versus Roderick Strong. Okay.
Yes.
And I stood
love that
right
moment.
next to them and watched Roddy chop Willie and Willie's eyes come alive and Willie chop Roddy and them go back and forth and until Roderick stopped and was like, okay, I'm gonna knee you and now let's stop chopping each
right.
other. Willie Mack is the wrong person to chop, dude.
Right.
He'll stand toe to toe with you for as long as you want to go.
Willie's got these like frying pan hands that just knock every bit of wind out of you.
Just the sounds of them.
Yeah.
Are, like, and I saw him take off the glove, and I know that's when Pentagon is like, all right, I'm about to start chopping the shit out of you.
Right.
So I was like, oh, are you sure you want to do this to Willie, though? Are you sure Willie's, of all the people, you have 5 other people to choose from, dude?
Right. I
Willie's
remember
the guy.
I remember one time I was wrestling Willie Mack in a tag team match at some random lucha show in LA, and he was going back and forth with these running avalanches in the corner, and him running at you full speed in the corner is absolutely terrifying.
Oh my God.
I
He's
mean,
so agile.
He's so fast and he's so strong and he's so agile.
And then he hits that flying knee.
Oh
to
my
Pentagon
God.
Jr. I was just
Absolutely
like,
beautiful.
oh man, you're lucky you got a flying knee and not
Right.
just a bunch of 4 more chops.
And he gets so much speed and so much momentum hitting those ropes and ducking those clotheslines that when he does throw that flying knee, it's just he like flies right through him.
Yeah, he even took an awesome backstabber. Like the
Yeah,
duck
he
under
did, like the
backstabber.
duck under,
Yeah, that
and
was
flew
good.
up and over him completely.
Crazy.
One of my favorite moments, though, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, is when Pentagon Jr. goes to flag him over the corner, and you just hear Willie go, "Oh shit!"
So good.
It's such a good moment. Oh, I love it.
I loved Phoenix taking the pounce, but he took it like a chop block.
Oh,
and
he takes
just
it so
flipped,
good.
like inside out.
Absolutely.
I was just like, oh shit.
We saw some action between Rey Mysterio and King Cuerno, which they're kind of the perfect representations of like the light and dark of the temple. Like, of course, Mil Muertes is a representation of death. Of course, Matanza is a face-eating monster. But King Cuerno is like, he's the most sinister and the most methodical of kind of the killers of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he's that like, oh, what was the not Sheriff of Rottingham, but like the second in command dude.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
Okay,
he's
sure.
like that guy.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I can see that.
He's
Sure.
like your man at arms.
Not only that, when Rey's in the ring, we get a little bit of a WCW history lesson on him.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about, his matches against Dean Malenko, his matches against Psychosis,
And
even
then
his matches against Vampiro.
Vampiro's like, what about Sturgis, man?
What
When I
about-
kicked his ass.
I love that Vampiro's dropping WCW 99 references. Like,
great.
Matt Stryker's talking about the golden era from like 96, 97, all that stuff, 95. But Vampiro's talking about like late in the game.
Vamp's like, remember when I used to come out with the Misfits and ICP?
Which I was just listening to Vampiro's episode of The Art of Wrestling, and he talked about how the Misfits involvement in WCW came about.
Oh, I can't wait
and
to
it's
check that out.
awesome. Vampiro's
man.
dope. He's the absolute dopest.
Ray was hitting the classics in there.
He
had
was.
a beautiful like flipping head scissor thing that was like, I was
Yes.
like, oh,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
It's what you would expect. It's 6-on-6 action. It's complete chaos in the best way possible. We get the requisite dive spot where just everyone is topping each other one after the other with dives.
You know what's funny is like I watched like crazy dive after crazy dive after crazy dive, and I saw Ray about to dive, and I was like, Ray's getting cut off because there's no way Ray's about to do anything that tops anything that
I thought
anyone
that
has done
exact-
right now.
that exact same
Sure
thing.
enough, take out his legs.
Just take out the legs. Ray takes a big old face plant.
and he just yanks him to the outside.
Absolutely. Yeah, just yanks
Yeah.
him by his feet.
Oh, terrible.
Of
That can't
course,
feel good.
Of course, we've got to mention the arrow from the depths of hell from Cuerno to Tejano. Just each and every time.
Knocks
it looks
him
like
into
it gets
all those
faster.
Marines into the front row.
Right. What else? We've got Johnny Mundo's on the offense.
Taya gets a face full of Mundo.
Oh, yes,
man.
absolutely. Yeah. Puma cuts him off. Eventually, we see a 619, but before Prince Puma can hit the 630, Rey Mysterio gets kicked into Puma. Johnny Mundo hits the big old flying chuck to Rey, hits the Avalanche C4 on Prince Puma, and we've got a winning team. We've got Phoenix, Ivelisse, King Cuerno, Taya, Johnny Mundo, and Pentagon Jr. going on to the 6 to Survive match next week.
Crazy.
Whew.
Those. So, like, okay, obviously Taya and Mundo are going to work together.
Uh-huh.
So, is it elimination? So
I
there's it's
think
elimination,
so.
right? So
I
where
think
there's
so.
one
It made it
left.
sound like it was going to be. It said it's going to go from 6 to 5 to 4, all the way
yeah.
down
Yeah.
till we have one winner.
Okay,
Right.
so it's definitely going to be an elimination. So if the two of them work together, I would take out Pentagon Jr. first.
Of course, of
You know,
course.
and
You got to
then-
think, looking at the members of that team, it's got to come down to Phoenix and Pentagon Jr.
was just gonna say
as the
that,
final
yeah.
two.
Who might be brothers.
It could be.
They could be brothers.
They could pass. They could
Yeah.
pass. We've got Taya and Johnny Mundo's in there. King Cuerno, I think will show a very, very strong showing. But that all ties into how this week's episode ended. We go to King Cuerno's trophy room. We see, thank you.
We see Katrina.
We see Katrina back from wherever it is she vanished to.
Who knows?
Talking to Mil Muertes, who is currently in trophy form. And she says that death waits for no one. She tells him to awaken, and he opens those big ol' eyes, and we see a brand new Mil Muertes, complete with red eyes.
Yes.
Thank you. It's exactly.
And I love how he like opens his eyes and he's like, and he headbutts the glass.
He
Headbutts the
notices
glass.
there's a camera and gets just pissed.
Yep.
Yeah,
he
he's like,
hates those
"Another
cameras.
camera?"
He hates those cameras.
He hates these cans.
Somebody's shooting these cameras.
It's the OptiGrab.
But
I really hope that his mask has like the Cuerno thread and
I love
everything
that.
when he comes back.
Absolutely love that. I love the idea of King Cuerno. Like, it reminds me a little bit of Leatherface, kind of like curing his meat and like wrapping it the way he would a steak. Like King Cuerno is going to prepare it as if he was taxidermying an animal. You know, he's going to carefully stitch this mask together with this leather twine or whatever it is.
Oh, it's so good.
So, so good. We got
now next week we at least know there's that match.
Next week, we've got the 6 to survive match. Phoenix versus Ivelisse versus King Cuerno versus Taya versus Johnny Mundo versus Pentagon Jr. for a shot at Matanza's championship at Ultima Lucha Dos. That being said, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh man. So much.
Well, we talked about our predictions for the 6 to survive match. Where do we think this whole Cisco thing is going to go?
I think Cisco obviously is being talked into wearing a wire.
Right, which is not a good idea.
Which is definitely not a good idea. I would hope it'd be great if he like flipped it and like he wears the wire but like puts it on the other cat, not Joey, but
on Cortez. Okay,
and then like
interesting.
Dario catches Cortez with the wire and he's like, wait, no. Like,
Oh, man.
boom. And then like he's got the wire and he's a cop.
Right.
And then like maybe Cisco steals the money and just gets away.
That would be dope. I definitely want to see a happy ending for Cisco. I love Cisco.
Yes.
He's really shown more of himself and more of his personality this season.
And the fans love him in the temple.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't let him get his head eaten.
He's
please.
just, he's just a little cholo. He just got
Yeah.
caught in the crossfire.
It's a dangerous neighborhood, Boyle Heights.
It is. It actually is.
Actually,
It really is.
Yeah, don't go there at night.
But yeah, I do sadly think that Cisco is not long for this world. I think that Katrina and Mil Muertes are going to cost King Cuerno his spot in the 6 to survive match. What else? I do think it's going to come down to Phoenix and Pentagon next week. I think the only logical option for Ultima Lucha is Matanza versus Pentagon. Like, if there's any match that we've been leading up to this entire season, it's that.
And then what happens with Vamp?
Oh man, that's a good idea.
Like, do the pills come
That's a
into
good call.
play?
I do think we'll see an appearance by the Dark Master.
The Dark Master.
I think it wouldn't be Ultima Lucha without a satanic pope.
You know, it'd be awesome if there's like two. Like there's Vampiro like sitting at the thing.
Vamp at the desk.
And
That's
then
what I was
there's
gonna say, dude.
like hologram Vampiro that's like over Dario's office.
Oh my
Like,
god, that'd be incredible.
Oh man, that'd be so dope.
That'd be amazing. But we know that nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
In Lucha Underground.
Time traveling, glow in the dark nunchucks.
Of course. Mark, would you like? Ooh. Oh my, that's magical.
Yeah.
Would you like to offer up a prediction or two, Big Mark?
I agree with you on King Cuerno.
Mm-hmm.
I figure Mil Muertes is going to take him out.
Mm-hmm.
I figure maybe even drag him to the depths of hell. And we're
Ooh.
going to have a gimmick match between the two of them at Ultima Lucha.
Oh man. Now I'm just thinking of like the fight scene between Scorpion and Johnny Cage in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Welcome.
Where it's like in hell.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
And we get a sweet autograph picture of King Cuerno.
It just flies down on fire.
Some spear shows up.
That's a $500 cowboy hat, asshole.
That's a good pull.
This is where you fall down.
And it's going to punch Mil in the nuts, and he's going to go, oh!
Oh my god, I could 1000% see that
Please
happening.
GIF that. I made sure Jimbo was on frame for that. Please GIF that. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know if we're gonna see any trios action for Ultima Lucha, but if I mean Johnny's got to get eliminated first.
Right.
What
I would
about
love him to be eliminated first?
I don't know. I would say a cage match between Marty and Killshot.
Okay.
But some kind of match between the two of them.
Put the ladder. Put it up hanging from
With
the
the
top.
dog tags?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
Absolutely.
Always a fan of a good.
That sounds
That's what I was
excellent,
waiting
Mark.
for.
I'm sorry.
I like your style.
So good. Well,
Like your
guys,
steez.
we are 20 episodes into this season. There are only 4 episodes left, so make sure you come right back here and join us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific so we can talk about Lucha Underground. But for now, Jimbo, where can they find you and where can they find that glorious DVD in front
You
of
can
you?
find this glorious DVD I made on the Young Bucks. It's called the Young Bucks 2 Sweet Journey at highspots.com. if you go on my Twitter or my YouTube, you can see Teddy Hart, who I spent the weekend with, did an endorsement of this documentary. It features Lucha Underground stars like Matt Stryker, the Mac, and Paducah's own Prince Puma. But you can follow me on Twitter at the Jimbo Slice. That's TheJimboslice. That's at the Jimbo Slice with 2 E's, and that's at the Jimbo Slice. Ty Matthews.
Guys, as always, you can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at Ty Matthews PMA, as well as various other after shows, including Monday Night Raw, Houdini and Doyle, American Grit, the season finale of which is in just about an hour and a half, and of course, right here on Lucha Underground, and of course, the brand new American Ninja Warrior after show on Wednesday nights. So, make sure to check us out on iTunes. Download, comment, rate, review, subscribe. 5 stars if you're nasty. If you're on YouTube, leave us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Instagram. We love Lucha Underground. We know you do too. So let's all love it together. But guys, until next week, Viva la Lucha!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.